I have not even started making my own ban list predictions yet, but everybody else in the world is doing it. So this is going to be a two-part video. If you guys want part two of me talking about these lists I find and going through them, this is a segment I definitely... We're not going to do a lot of these, but I do want to talk about some of these lists because I do like giving my opinion on other people's opinions, per se. But this is a train wreck of a list. So you guys better kick back and enjoy a list that has like 30 things on this. So let's dig on into this. Remember, if you want part two of this, give me some likes on this bad boy, shall we? Alright, so we're going to just dig on into this. Number 75, straight outright ban. So there's been a lot of discussion between leaving 75 alone or hitting Wrongo Bongo. And if you leave 75 alone, 75 is going to be a card that might be an issue later on in the game. Being able to move materials from a monster to another monster, or extend materials, yeah, I get it. It's kind of dangerous for the game, but we've started to see that he's become an issue at this point. So yeah, we're probably going to want to clean him up. I do like the idea of hitting Rhongo and leaving him for more potential plays later on in the game, but that might not be such a good idea. So, okay, I agree with that. Next up, we also have Gumball, our Dragon Band. I've been fucking saying this for fucking weeks, months. Can't say a year at this point, but Gumball is such a degenerate card. What were we thinking when we made this? Guys, look at me. Why do we do this to ourselves? Like, hitting our opponent for 6 cards, we're gonna have Aqua Dolphin banned before we ban Gumball or Dragon. Alright, that's how sad this is. But, okay, so I agree with these. These are the only 2 cards that this list has banned. Next up, we have Multifaker going to 1. I want this to happen. Alright, logically, we'll probably put Multifaker to 2 for the most part. That's one thing I don't like about this list per se, is they make some very bold calls for no fucking real reason. But okay, so we put Multifaker to 1, we hurt Altergeist enough, and okay, cool. We did what we needed to do. I can pass that, and I can agree with that. Okay, so Multifaker to 1. Okay, now next up on this list, this is the fucking part where I started tuning out, and they just said this out loud. They have Ancient Fairy Dragon at 1. People, we had issues with fucking field spells for a half a year to a year, and you think it is okay with fucking letting Ancient Fairy Dragon run around with fucking ABC? Alright, we cleaned up this problem, and this list promotes field spells. Alright, we've tried to limit the field spell mechanic because the OCG abused this shit way more than we did, to be fair. Giving your opponent a field spell they couldn't activate and locking them out of the mechanic was dumb. But you think it's okay to let Fairy Dragon return at this point? No! Destrudo is still running around. Yes, I get Armageddon Knight is limited to 1, and that might potentially hurt this. But no, we're not letting Ancient Fairy Dragon come back. That's just ignorant. Next up on this list, they have just Widowmaker to 1. I was kind of thinking about this the other day, and I can agree with the sentiments on this. In a weird way, because you can give them all the engages that you want and all the searchability that you want to give the deck. But if you actually limit the amount of things they can do with Widowmaker, then you hurt them. Now, it's not fair to allow Widowmaker to go to 1 when you have other decks like Thunder Dragons going around that producing all these Titans is actually an issue. I think hitting Kagari might be the better route. Take a piece out of the OCG's book. But yes, Widowmaker to 1 does do a lot of damage to the deck. A lot more than I kind of want to admit. But that might be a good route to go when trying to fix this deck. So I can agree with that. Now, they have Construct at 1. We've been talking about Construct to 1 for a good while. And there's some cards in this game of Yu-Gi-Oh that I don't outright understand why they're banned for no reason. I guess they're worried about Construct being a super poly target, but the OCG's proven that it's not really doing anything over there. So in terms of that, like, okay, I understand Construct can come back. Now this one fucking broke me as a human being. Denglong to 1. Alright. Why the living fucking shit do we want to bring back Denglong? The reason that this card was an issue was because of how fucking easy it was to make. Also, getting behind a negation and a float, 95% of the decks at that time, like Zoo and True Draco, actually had issues with that. And they were inherently powerful at 100%. Now, when you look at things at this current point in time, Zoo is going to have, or Zoo, Sky Striker, Thunder Dragons might have an issue with that onboard negation. I do not like free cards, alright? Denglong is fine in its own archetype, but when you allow it to come into the game, underneath the premise that you're going to be playing it in Dinosaurs, because that's why you're going to be playing it, then that free advantage is just, no. Stop. That's too powerful. Now, no, I don't agree with that. Next up, Shrit To One. This is the exact same as literally Construct. I don't understand why we have a limitation on this card. We have more ritual support, and you're reprinting Necros at this point in time. I have a very weird feeling that we will probably see a unlimit to this card in the near future, just to promote people wanting to play a ritual-based deck like Necros. I mean, it's what reprints are for. This one also is fucking hilarious. We have Feather Duster being unbanned. Not gonna happen, kid. I'm sorry. This is another one of those. What? They didn't reprint Feather Duster in, the Duelist of the Roses, or the Sisters of the Roses pack. Like, it's not happening, alright? If the card didn't get a reprint, it's not coming back. Sorry to tell you that. Gotta be the bearer of bad news there. It'd be interesting for the game, but not happening. I also have Grass going to 1. We banned this card because having an auto win button against certain decks is not fair. And it is not, especially when you're playing 60 cards. Literally at that point, you deserve a free win every 7 games that you open Grass or have a way to get to Grass. Congratulations. Not in my TCG. Keep Grass as far out. I don't want to deal with degeneracy and things like that. Speaking of degeneracy, they also put Spellbook of Judgement. Why the fuck do you think Spellbook... Oh, well, hey, Robbie, you obviously don't want Spellbooks to be a good deck. You're absolutely fucking right. I don't want to deal with Spellbook of Fate being an untargetable card. Do you think anybody wants to deal with Spellbook of Judgment for your entire deck? Well, multi-role can do it, so why can't Spellbooks? No, stop. Stop, please. I love my opponent getting a Jowgen on the field and not letting me play the game. Come on now. Do you guys actually... Do you think Spellbook... Ask yourselves, if multi-role can exist in the way that we've done things now, have we reached the point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where Spellbook of Judgment is fair to come back? Please, I look forward to hearing the answer to this in my comment section, because I kind of think it could. And that's saying a lot. Next up, they have Chabad Joker moving back to 1. So pendulums are already doing stuff, and this is kind of scary because in the grand scheme of things, pendulums haven't been that good. They've lost a lot in the TCG. I'm not opposed to giving them back Chabad at 1. I guess it just acts as an extender on a normal summon, so that's fine. Now, the next one actually got my attention is actually Suruga. And we've seen more of like the Six Samurai deck. Decks that turbo 2 degenerate means. And I was kind of thinking about this more with Danger and things like that, helping turbo through the deck. We can't exactly hit the Danger archetype at this point. But we've started seeing Suruga being used in these degenerate means. And even if this doesn't happen at this current point in time, I could definitely see Suruga's turbo ability, biting him in the ass, even at a much later date in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Even if this isn't a hit now, we're starting to head towards the point of Suruga needing to be limited. And I didn't think the day would come when a draw 4, put 3 back would start to cause issues in the game, but here we are. We've done it. I didn't expect it, but okay. And then the last big change that they have here is actually Dragon Dark going 2-1. And I guess this is fair with hitting Widowmaker and Multifaker because you're trying to slow down the overall process or progress of these decks. The current high ceiling that we're experiencing in the meta, people, I can understand, like, you want to check them all to allow other things to come. You know, we have the next year to look forward to in 2019, and I can understand, like, cool, check. Allow the next horde of shitty broken decks, aka Salman Great, to come in, sit at the dinner table, and, you know, do what they want to do. So, yeah, I can agree with that being, like, the core hit to Thunder Dragons. Like, you don't hit the Colossus, you don't hit the Titan, you allow the other 3 bad boys, you know, still do what they want to do. So that's fine. So those are the limits to 1. That's a lot. There's a lot of things I agree with, some things I don't disagree with, but we're going to dig into part 2, aka the 3 ofs. I guess. Okay. But yeah, if you want to see that video, just like comment on this. And well, see you guys in part 2. Oh. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanco40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.